and welcome back to Ursula's Farmhouse Kitchen. Today I would like to show you how to make sourdough bread. And I know on several of my videos I've already done exactly that. But today I just really want to make some sourdough bread. I'm craving the taste of the tang of it, and I just want to make some. It's been about a month since I've made some for you all, and this is just going to be for me and my husband to enjoy. Probably it will be for me to enjoy, and I'll end up eating half of a loaf or giving the other half to my kids. But anyway, I wanted to show you, I had just fed my starter last night, and it was like way down here. And actually, during the day today, it was already up here. It's already puffed back down a little bit. So I need to go ahead and make my bread before it gets back really way down. So right now, I just wanted to kind of do a little advertisement for King Arthur. This is my favorite flour, and it's the unbleached bread flour by King Arthur. And it has a good bit of protein. It has 12.7, and it says gluten-forming protein content. So this is a high number of protein, and whatever bread flour you use, it needs to have a good number of protein grams. And when I'm feeding my starter, like I did last night, I use the King Arthur all-purpose flour. But today, for general purposes, we will be using just the bread flour. Make sure that it's unbleached, and you'll have a lot of great luck. Now, this one is not organic. I'm having a hard time finding organic unless I go online. Publix no longer carries the organic in my community. So I'm just going to have to settle with the unbleached bread flour, but it is the good brand, King Arthur. And I'm going to be looking on Amazon, and I've already got some ordered on Thrive to get the organic, because that's what I was using all the time. And now I'm having to kind of settle for unorganic. But anyway, I've already got everything measured, so it's not going to take a long time. And this process, it does take time to make bread. So I'm just going to do this little segment now, and then I'll show you the next segment. So right now it just says, in a large bowl, got my nice thrifted bowl that I got at a wonderful used store. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my water first. I've already got it pre-measured, and this is 350 grams. It's really hard to use a measuring cup for making bread. You need to use a digital scale, such as this one. I just paid probably $10 for this on Amazon about a year ago, and I have enjoyed it so much because it just really measures so precisely. So we're going to go ahead and put the water, and again, that's 350 grams of water, and this is filtered water, and I just got it out of my fridge and let it stay overnight in a sealed container. So you don't have to use Dasani water or any kind of purified water that's bottled that you had to buy. It can just be filtered from your fridge or your water system that's filtered. So the next step is to add the starter, and it needs to be very active, like this one. It's super active, and it's going to be 100 grams. So I'm going to use my scale and make sure it's zeroed out. All right, and we're going to do 100 grams. All right, and I got a little bit too much, so I'm going to put some back in. All right, let's keep working with that. Now I put too much back in there. All right, we're at 102. I'm just going to leave it like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and combine the starter with the filtered water. And I'm going to use my dough whisk because it makes it so much easier. Make sure you get all the starter out of your little bowl. All right, and this is my dough whisk. If you don't have one, they have them on Amazon. I haven't seen them in other stores yet, but I'm sure that they are. They might have them at Home Goods. I haven't noticed them there. This is called blooming the starter. Okay, and it looks just like milky water. All right, and so the next step, it says to add 500 grams of unbleached bread flour. And here is our 500 grams of King Arthur, like I mentioned earlier. And at this time, we also need to add in 12 grams of salt. And I'm going to use this ancient fine sea salt. Any kind of salt will be fine. And honestly, let's see. Yeah, it just says salt. It doesn't say what it has to be. So you can use whatever salt you like. I was using Himalayan salt, but I've been using the sea salt. So let me put this back over here. All right, and I'm going to let that zero out, and we're going to make sure we have 12 grams of salt. And I believe I got this salt from Thrive. All right, and there's 12 grams of salt. So we'll just give this a big stir, and then I'll have to put my hands in there and get it all incorporated. Now this is only going to make 1 loaf of bread. You would have to double the recipe to get 2 loaves. The last time I made bread on video, I had done the mini loaves, and I showed y'all the different designs. So today is just going to be just one of my regular loaves. It's not going to be the mini style. And it's not going to have an inclusion. I just want it to be plain, good old sourdough. But I have been missing the jalapeno cheddar one. And I think the next time I do a cheddar one, I'm going to probably do chives. So we'll see. Maybe I can do an inclusion loaf soon. Okay, that's about all that this is going to do. So I'm going to make sure my hands are extra clean and wash them again. And I do want to remind you to take off your wedding set if you are married or if you have rings on. The dough gets all in the rings. So any types of rings, the dough will just get all in there. So let's see. First, I want to get all this dough out of here. And also be very careful about getting this dough down your drain. You don't want that to happen. Don't want to have to call a plumber because of sourdough problems. Just get it off with a paper towel and get it off from your hands with a paper towel. Okay, and it's really just a sticky ball right now. It just looks like this. All right, and my next step says to mix the ingredients together until a shaggy dough forms and make sure there are no dry pockets of flour, and then scrape down the sides of the bowl with a rubber scraper and push all the dough into the center. So I'm going to get out my dough scraper right now. And I'm going to lift it up and make sure there's no dry pockets. It feels super sticky and super moist today. Sometimes it's a lot drier than this. It's extra hydrated today for some reason. I think the changes in temperature make a lot of changes for the dough. So just have to work with it because we're in late summer right now. Okay, I've got a mess on my hands. Let me show you what I mean. Messy, messy, messy. Trying to get off as much as I can. And I'm going to grab a paper towel to clean this up. And I'll have to wash my hands again. Most of it is off my hands now, about 80% of it. So now I'm just going to do my hands like this, rub them together over the trash can. Okay, and the next step says to cover the bowl with a damp towel or plastic shower cap. Now, you don't have to have a damp towel. If you have a bowl cover like I've got, this is what I love to use. And I don't ever dampen it. I just let it stay just dry. So here we go. I'm just going to let it stay in the bowl. And it says it needs to stay on the countertop for 1 hour. So I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for 1 hour. And this will actually allow the gluten to develop. Today I'm enjoying some wonderful Gatorade, and it's a berry flavor. But I got a whole crate of Gatorade at Aldi a few weeks ago, and I have just enjoyed these little Gatorades so much. I think they're 80 calories, but you can also get the ones that are 0 calories. And I'll probably get the 0 ones next time, but these are really, really good. I've enjoyed them. So I will be back with you for the next steps. Don't go far. Okay, real quick, I wanted to show y'all how I store my flour. If you just open your flour and store it like this, it's not going to stay the freshest, as you already know. So, I call them little weevils. They're little tiny bugs that will actually get into your flour and totally mess it up, and you have to throw it out. So if it gets buggy, or if you have weevils that start crawling around, you've got to throw out the entire package of flour. And flour is expensive. I don't know how much this is right now. I don't have my receipt in front of me, but I'm telling you, the flours are getting more and more expensive, especially this brand. And I just love this brand, so I continue to get it. But what I went ahead and did was on the front of my container, I put it's just paper, and it doesn't have plastic over it, but you could laminate it. I just put the label there, and then on the bottom, I did my expiration date for the top of the package, so I would know exactly when it expires. And this one is the old one, so I'll take that one off because I've got to do the new bag of flour now. So I'm going to go ahead now and show you how I do this. And I just got these containers at Walmart. I love them. This is the measure that I've been missing, my measuring cup. So now we know where it is. And the bag that I bought is just a 5-pound bag, but the one on Thrive it's a 9-pound bag, so that'll be, you know, almost double. All right, and then there is a nice little gadget that goes in the top, so it keeps your container nice and neat. And you can just put a scoop right there where that little slot is, or your spoon, whatever you're using. And I'm just going to rinse my top off. Make sure this is very dry before you put it back on your container. You don't want any moisture to get into your flour. I'm going to let that air dry a few minutes. But anyway, it's got a nice navy blue lid. And there you go. And on this side, there's a handle. So it's really nice. It fits nicely in my pantry. And I'm going to let that one air dry a little bit. And then the next one, I'm going to do the all-purpose flour. But don't forget to cut this out so you'll know exactly what kind of flour you have. And I am still waiting on my sourdough bread to rise, and it has to set for an hour. So I'm just showing y'all these little hacks while that time goes by. And this bag is a 5-pound bag, and I'm not going to throw this away. I'm going to make the label, and I'm going to cut where the expiration date is, and that's going to be, the expiration date will go on the bottom.
This morning has so clear a light as any to see the horizon in the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face, all that ever was is a rage. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day to
Stanley, are you getting hungry? Are you ready for Mommy to cook for you? I bet he is getting hungry because it's a little after 7, and we're really not on a schedule to eat tonight. So I am going to have to stop this video and go make some dog food for Stanley and Gracie. And y'all have seen me make that before. I'm going to make them some turkey and rice, and I may or may not add the green beans because he's got a a little tummy problem this week. So I think we'll skip the green beans and just do the turkey and rice. Y'all have a good night, and I'll show you the next steps later.
Tomorrow, there's no time to borrow.
Hey friends, so now the next step is to do our first set of stretch and folds. And the dough still looks pretty shaggy, and I'm just gonna leave the dough in the bowl and show you how I do the stretches and folds. Stretch and folds. All right, and I dampened my hands so they're not totally dry. I'm going to wet them one more time. Here's the trick. The hack is if you have wet hands, the dough doesn't really stick to your hands when you do the stretch and folds. So that's why people have damp hands when they're making bread. All right, so we're just going to lift it up and we're going to bring it back down. And I'm going to rotate my bowl like 1/4 turn. Lift it up. Oh, it's got lots of elastic in it. And bring it back down. Lift it up. I can tell the tension is really building. And it is starting to smooth out. Okay, and on my directions, it says that I will do 3. It says for a total of 3 stretch and folds every 30 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer for 30 minutes. And I will do the second set of stretch and folds. All right, I'll see you in a few minutes. And so the next segment is to show you how I shape the dough. And it is 11 o'clock at night right now. Actually, it's almost 11:30. We've been watching TV late tonight. And some of the stretch and folds I didn't get to video, but that's okay. I did some for you, and I skipped a few of them for you. I ended up doing 3 stretch and folds, and that's how many you're supposed to do for this bread. And then you just let the dough stay in your dough bowl for several hours after that, and you're waiting for the temp to come up to about 80 degrees. Let's see what our temp is now. And I have a it's called Good Cook thermometer. So let's see what it is. It's about 76.5 right now. But I am going to, since it's been out for several hours tonight, fermenting, what I'm going to do is, while I'm in the bed, I'm going to have it not fridging, but cooling in the fridge. And right now I want to show you how to shape the dough. So I'm going to wet my hands. I've already scrubbed my kitchen countertop with a disinfectant. I just used a disinfectant wipe from Walmart, and then I washed it off a couple of more times with plain water. You want to let it just totally let gravity help take the dough out of the bowl. Here it comes. Awesome. All right, and now I'm going to put a little bit of this Bob's Red Mill stone ground white rice flour. I'm going to put a little bit on the top. And I should have already put some on the countertop and I forgot. So I'll do that right now. Now let me show you how to shape the dough. Let me move the camera so you can see. All right. So what I'm going to do is just start working with it. It feels really, really pliable. Kind of like a soft Play-Doh. This is one of the reasons why I love making it so much. It's so much fun. And I just feel like a little kid. You'll see all those bubbles? That's from the gases that build up. So what you need to do is you need to build some tension in the dough like this. You have it pushed back and then you push it forward like this. And then you spin it around and around and around. And you push it backward and forward and keep spinning it. You can also just kind of stretch it out like this. Do like this, and this is creating tension too. Put a little bit more flour on it. It feels like it's going to be a wonderful loaf. And the idea is to get it as pretty and round and smooth as you possibly can. And if there is a seam, it needs to be on the bottom, not the top. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah. And see how it's kind of opened up there? You can just kind of stitch it closed like that. Just kind of mend it. And we call it stitching it closed. But you're really just kind of playing with it and closing that gap there. All right. And so make sure it's tight one more time and let's give it one more spin. I'm getting so tired because it's about 11:30. Now I'm just going to take a little clear bowl and I'm just going to put a little bit of rice flour in the bottom of it. And you can get a banneton on Amazon or probably at Walmart, or you can just use a little glass bowl. And usually I just use these little bowls because the bannetons are made out of rattan or straw, some kind of straw material. And you really can't wash those unless they're the silicone kind. Now, what you need to do is, this is the top. You have to invert it. So put it on the underside. Just flop it over. So this is actually the bottom of the bread. When I flip it into the Dutch oven, I'll have to flop it over like that tomorrow. So this is inverted. The top of it is right there. And now I'm going to refrigerate it overnight for at least 8 hours. And I'll show you the next steps when I get up. Y'all have a good night. Make sure it's covered before you put it in the refrigerator. Well, hi there, friends, and welcome back to Ursula's Farmhouse Kitchen. And today I'm going to show you how to do another design on a sourdough bread loaf. This is going to be a round bowl. And I've had it in the refrigerator overnight. It was really late last night when I finished bench resting it. It was about 11:30 when I put it, 11:30 last night when I put it in the fridge. So it's probably full of flavor now and ready to be baked. And on my parchment, I've got just a little bit of rice flour. It's very light, and the one that I get is called Bob's Red Mill, and it's white rice flour. So just make sure that you use some rice flour so that it will help you out with your designs, and it will help you to not let things stick. So we're going to go on and get started. I'm going to go ahead and get this out. So it's been in the bowl all night in the fridge. I'm going to put some rice flour on top, and let me lower my camera so you can see. All right. There we go. All right, you can see that the dough has really expanded from yesterday. And the rice flour will help us with our scoring too. So if you've never done sourdough before, you get to make all these unique designs, and you can create your own design, or you can look on the internet for lots of different designs. When I bought this lame on Amazon, it's just a razor blade with a handle. They also gave me this little sheet with all these different ones. And the one I'm going to do tonight is not on there. It's going to be called a chef's kiss. And some of my friends do this when they're making their sourdough. But first I want to try to work with my dough just a little bit, because it just came out of this. I just used a glass bowl instead of a banneton. So I'm going to work with my dough just for a little bit. I shaped it last night, but I want to make sure it's ready to cook. All right, it's nice and round. And when you make your first cut, your primary cut has to be pretty deep, at least 1/4 of an inch deep into the dough. So what I'm going to do is kind of like a half moon. So I'm just going to slice around like this. All right, that's my primary cut. And the next cut is a secondary cut. And I'm just going to make a heart now, just a heart shape. So I'll make the heart shape right over here. And I'll move the camera in a minute so you can see better. And as the bread bakes, it will actually make the heart pop up. So it's going to be really cool when it comes out of the oven. It's going to be really neat, I mean. You really want both of these cuts to be pretty deep. And it's going to help the bread to expand. And it will just make it have the prettiest look. It'll be all nice and crusty. Because if you didn't do that, it wouldn't be able to move around like it's supposed to. Now, do you see the heart? Yeah. All right, I'm going to put it in a screaming hot Dutch oven. So let me get out my Dutch oven now. It's in the oven preheating. And I'm also going to get some ice cubes to help create steam in the oven. So don't forget your oven mitts because your Dutch oven is already very, very hot. And now you just lift up the parchment and put the ice cubes under the parchment, some on each side. And I already hear the sizzling. Now it's going to go in a 450-degree oven. And my directions say, it says, bake for a total of 45 minutes. And it says my preference, the person that gave me this, my preference is 38 minutes covered and 7 minutes uncovered. So I'm going to set my timer for 38 minutes covered. Okay, and then I'll do 7 minutes uncovered, and I'll take pictures and show you what it looks like when it comes out. Hey, you guys, look at this beautiful bread. I'm so happy that it turned out so well. And if you see the little crusty things popping up, we call those ears in sourdough. I'm just so happy it turned out great. I just want to tell you thank you for all the times that you've watched my videos, and please keep coming back. I have more to share, and I will be creating more and more and more content for everyone. Have a wonderful day, and God bless you.